Okay, we
All
starting.
right.
Starting.
It's time to start. It's time
Okay,
to get her going.
I'll start now. Thank you for calling 1-800 Sad Design. Happy New Year and welcome back. I think we hope that your holiday season was restful and inspiring. And we're just going to be doing a little bit of catching up today.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe talking about some design trends later on. But how was your holiday break, Ty?
It was pretty busy for me. I don't think I got a rest day really. It was kind of just every day was packed with family plans or preparing for the next day. But it was good. It was definitely nice to just hang out and do whatever. Like the first couple days, I spent snowboarding with some family in Utah, and then we went home for Christmas, and then we do this thing. We do this thing where we just make mochi and have a bunch of family and friends over. So we had that on a day. And then I had to go out to Arizona, and then I spent New Year's Eve with some friends, New Year's Day with more family, and then came back. So super busy.
Yeah, sounds like
It
it.
wasn't it wasn't really a break, but it was a break from work. But it
Yeah,
was
which
very
is nice.
exhausting. Like my brother and I, we were like, dude, I just want to sleep all day, but we couldn't. There was always something to do, and yeah. But yeah, all in all, it was good.
Good.
What about you? How was your little holiday break?
It was chill. Didn't do a whole lot. Well, actually, I worked like the entire time. I ended up having to get a new car, and so I was like, I need to be able to pay for this car. Whenever you need me at work, I'll be there. And so every shift they were like, "Can you come in?" I was like, "Yes."
Well, that's exciting.
So I just
New
worked
car,
a lot. Drove my
like
car.
every day of the week, or just like 5 days a week.
But mostly five, sometimes six. I am like, I just need my one day, please.
Yeah, you need a day to like
I need a
reset or
refresh.
just don't do anything.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna be angry.
Mm-hmm.
Need some sleep sometimes.
Yeah, just sometimes, you don't need it all the time. And it's not that important to us.
Yeah, up all hours of the night.
Yeah. Well, what card you end up getting?
I ended up getting a 2025 Kia Seltos.
Wow.
I like it
Very
a lot.
nice. Yeah?
I was used to driving my 25-year-old car that had like no bells and whistles whatsoever, and now
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm driving a spaceship a little bit. I
Now
don't
you're
even
driving
know.
in that luxury life
I know.
where it has all the features.
Yep. A little
Like,
too many, I think, but
yeah, sometimes they do seem where they are a little unnecessary, but sometimes they come in handy.
yeah, it's very cool. I like it. I also my last car was a stick and this one's an automatic, and that's been something to get used to.
Mm.
My hand likes to just settle on, the shift.
Yeah.
Even though I don't need to lay it there. It's just like habitual. Like
Mm-hmm. I know. I feel like it definitely takes time to get used to, especially since you were driving the stick shift the whole time.
yeah, I drove that car for like 8 years.
That's crazy.
So
But I
not
mean,
having stick is weird. People
yeah.
are always like, "Don't you hate it?" You have to think about what you're doing when you're driving. And I was like, it gets to a point where you don't think about it anymore.
But it's also like, what else are you supposed to be thinking about?
Yeah,
Like, it's part of driving,
I
Can't
didn't
really
even
be
think
thinking
about
about.
it. It was just driving.
Yeah. I think by a certain point, though, it does turn into like muscle memory
It
kind
really
of
is.
thing.
And that's why my hand likes to drift towards, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. I've only driven stick a couple of times, and it was not. It's like fun because it's like an interactive driving experience,
Yes.
but it is hard. It's really hard with the clutch and all that.
Yeah. Once you
All
get
the
used
like,
to it, though, it's like second nature.
but it's so learning it is so stressful because like people don't know that you're learning until you stall at a stoplight, and then they start honking at you, and then it's like, dude, like I just need a fat sticker on the bumper saying like I'm learning. Just go
Yeah.
around, please. Please go around.
Yeah,
The,
learning to drive it was something else. I remember there was lots of tears, lots of screaming by parents because I would be like stopped in the middle of an intersection and too chicken to get it to start again. And really, what got me to drive it was when I got my actual license and they said, "Well, good luck getting to school."
we're not taking you anymore. You gotta take care of yourself.
And so I figured it out.
Nice. That's
Got
probably
used to it.
that's like the original way of parenting when they just they like essentially make you do it until you really need to learn it, and then you'll just learn it because it's like you
Yeah.
have to.
I think my brother can remember my first day. I think it was his freshman year of high school, and I was his junior when I was able to drive by myself, got my license. First day of school, I was driving us to school and in the bug, and I kept stalling it on the way back home. I got there just fine, but I think it was the traffic, after school traffic,
Mm-hmm.
around the school that got me freaked out. I had to pull over at one point to like catch
Take
my
a
breath,
breather.
think about it, and my
You're
poor
like,
brother fought, like just sat there calmly,
he's just like,
which is
I
rare
don't
for
want to
him.
go.
Yeah.
But he's just sitting there like, I'm not gonna walk.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here.
But that only happened one day, and after that one day, it was fine.
That's nice. No,
So, yeah.
yeah. I remember one time when I was just learning. I don't know why, but my brother was like, "Yeah, gave me like a crash course on how to do it." And it was basically like, once you hit this RPM, hit the clutch and then change. I was like, okay. And then I get to like an uphill point, and it's like you start rolling back. I'm like, oh my god. And you're like trying to like do it all fast, but then you can't. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna put in park and you do it. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, that was kind of like my last time doing it.
Yeah. I do miss it a little bit, but the new car's really nice too.
Yeah, I
That
mean, you
stick will always have a
can.
special place in my heart.
Yeah, you can like. I don't know if you ever go to like Europe and rent a car. I think all those cars are stick. So
Wouldn't it be on the other side though? I don't think I could do it with my right hand or my left hand. Like
do
shift.
they drive on the left side? I thought they.
Yeah.
I thought they drive on the right side. Hmm.
No,
Go-
they drive on the right side. We drive on the left side.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. I'll
Me
Google it
neither.
later though.
But I'm like, I don't think I could shift with my left hand. That would be weird.
Yeah.
Unless they're still on the other side. I don't know.
I'm just gonna Google it right
You need this mystery
now.
solved.
Which side of the car? It says they drive on the right side of the road and use left hand to drive. So isn't that what we do? What does left
No.
hand or what does left hand drive mean?
Is that the shift that they're talking about? They drive.
Oh
I
wait,
was thinking too hard about this. I need a picture.
wait. It says they drive on the right hand side, but then they use cars that also sit where the driver's on the right. I think that's what it's saying because it says there's right hand drive and left hand drive. Left hand drive is when you drive on the left, Right-hand drive is when you drive on the right. Yeah. Who knows? I wonder though if it's like for tourists, like the rentals will probably just give you a car where you drive on the left, right?
I have no idea.
Because they wouldn't like have you rent a car where it's like manual and you're so used to using your right hand, so you have to use your left hand, and then that can just cause more accidents, right?
You'd think.
It's another question for Google. Oh my god. The car in Europe. Do you
Thoroughly researching this now.
left side of the car? Oh. Well, it says, well, oh yeah. It says you'll drive the left-hand vehicle. So like what we drive. But there's certain places in Europe that are, they drive on the left side of the road. It says the UK, Ireland, Malta, and Cyprus. Because my whole thought process is like, I feel like,
Yeah, most of them use European countries use left-handed vehicles, so the shifter is typically located on the left-hand side. So it does mean that they're shifting with the left hand and not the right hand like we do here. I don't think I could do it.
interesting.
That'd be so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds scary.
Yeah. Well, we fell down that rabbit hole of cars.
Yeah. But we had to figure it out, right?
Yes. Are you working on any design projects right now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, nothing really popped up over the break. Um, there's just a couple things I was trying to work on before, and then I kind of just had to start working on them again. But nothing too big. Yeah. No. What about you? Have you been working on anything, or just?
I had a lot of ideas of things I wanted to work on over the holiday, but I couldn't bring myself to do anything. I was gonna finish my putting the covers on my books that I've been talking about forever. Didn't do it. I finished everyone's Christmas gifts.
Nice.
I was going to make a little brand guide to go on my website for the podcast because like I have a job interview on Wednesday, so I was like, I'm gonna
Ooh,
include that, but I
exciting.
haven't gotten to it yet, and I don't know if I will be able to. I just don't have time. We'll see.
Yeah, I want to update. I have to update and add stuff to my site, but it takes a lot of willpower to do it for me.
Yeah.
My thing is I just need to figure out a solid way to format everything so I can kind of just like drag and drop it all in there.
Yeah. I want to organize though. I kind of want the brand guide thing I'm gonna make for the podcast to kind of match the other one that I did for a couple of my other projects. You know, to kind of show the consistency or whatnot. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just like a lot of extra work.
Yeah. I remember when we were working on it for the showcase, I had to like go back to all my old files and kind of like remake a couple designs because like when we were first designing all those projects, you don't have it in your mind that it's gonna be on the portfolio. So you had to like remake all these little things. I was like, this sucks. And then you have
Yeah.
to export all this stuff. And you have all
Yeah,
these
and everything we've
files.
done for the podcast so far has been just like little bits and pieces, like nothing really like
Yeah.
solidly together,
I mean,
except besides like social media templates and stuff. So it's like I just we pull all these random elements into
Mm-hmm.
our whatever we're using. So it's like this guide is gonna have to be from scratch.
Yeah. I think for me, if I mean, I'm most likely gonna put in my portfolio. I just don't know when. But I think I would kind of just lay it out like a regular brand guide, like a
Yeah.
little brief thing, and then just include things that we've done.
Yeah. Well, if I get around to it and get it done, I can just send it to you so you can use it. I mean, it is both of our
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. My thing though is I don't know like if the style of how you do the page should be in the style of the like project or topic that it's on or just the whole website, you know.
Yeah.
That's I think that's like one thing that held me back when I was first working. I was like, I don't know if it should be in this colorway or this one. Because you don't want people being like, oh, why is it this color now? And then you go to another one. It's like,
Different
why is it
colors.
just a bunch of different
Yeah, I've
colors?
always kind of just kept it to the theme of my website already. But like if I was doing like the one brand guide I do have on my website currently, it's like a slide deck. So,
Hmm.
I already have it's not the information like typed in to the website itself. It's just like images of the slide deck. So it can be its own style, but it's not like jarringly different from page to page.
Okay, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of does. I think for me, I don't know. I might just map it out in Figma. Kind of like get that all in my mind. Because it's basically just finding like a good layout.
Hmm.
I feel like once I get that nailed down, I'll be able to like fly through it all.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Luckily, we are very organized, so finding everything we need will not be hard.
I think, well, my point of view is that we're organized on this, but everything else, I am not organized. Like,
Yeah.
I just cleared my computer because I was running out of drive space, and I just dragged it onto folders. I tried to stay organized, but then I just moved it to my hard drive and deleted all of my computer, and it's like, all right, I have my space back. So, and my thing is also, I like name all my files, but sometimes they're not like that well labeled. So I
Yeah.
was like, what is actually in this file? And I have to open it up, and then you find out it's not what you were looking for. I was like, all right,
If
wonderful.
I have like a well-established like project that I'm working on, it's very organized, has its own little like spot on my computer. But if it's like an in working project or something I don't know that I liked, but I don't know what I'm doing with yet, it's just like they all sit in my downloads folder, unnamed,
Mm,
and it's just a big fat mess.
yeah, all
It's
my
like I like
like,
it. Maybe I'll come back to it.
yeah. What I do is, and I really need to stop doing it, but it's just like it's so fast for me. Is if I come up with an idea, I just open up Illustrator, get the idea down, kind of like pull in images and do like a quick little sketch or design, whatever,
Hmm.
and then I just save it to the cloud, and so then it just saves as untitled one, and then in parentheses it gives it a number, and I think now I'm at like 90. So I have like 90 untitled files
I
in
do
my
that with like the fun of
Creative
the
Cloud.
weeks.
So I definitely need
Yeah.
to go back and like take them out of the cloud, save them to a hard drive, and name them. But it's like that takes so long.
It does.
So I don't know when I'm gonna do it. I don't know.
At least you're able to find everything somewhat that you need, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like I think all my files are scattered throughout like my computers and the drives. So as long as I have access to that, I should be able to find it all. But yeah,
There it is.
I'd say it's relatively organized. Relatively.
Yeah,
It's
for
to
the
my
most
own
part.
system, you know.
As
No
long as
one
it makes
else
sense
needs
to
to
you.
be looking through my files.
Unless
As
you're working on a project with them.
well, yeah, like if it's a collaborative one, like
I'm still
obviously
so
I'll set
sorry about
aside.
my
Oh,
logo one that I sent you. It was bad.
that's a whole nother story. That's like inner file organization. I still haven't
Yeah.
nailed that down.
I don't know if we ever talked about that, but when we were creating the logo, I had every logo we ever worked on in one file, and it was just like every iteration after iteration after iteration with different textures, and like it got to the point where Ty couldn't even like open the file anymore.
Well, I could open it, but it was to the point where there was like a lot of like
Extra
texture
texture
effects,
that didn't need to be in
and
there because it was so
every
big
time,
already.
yeah, like every time I tried to move,
Anything you had to
it would
sit and
like
wait
have to
for it.
render. I'm like, all right, I think I'm just gonna delete all of this and only like save the things that
Yeah,
I need.
my bad.
I mean, you just have to get all the ideas out there, so you're not really focusing on like the organization thing. And
Yeah, it was just like we got to find the thing.
it's also like probably at that point you weren't expecting to share it in the future, you know?
No.
Like most of the time I don't plan on sharing my files, and then when people do ask for it or it's like, "Oh yeah, I can send." I'm like, "Oh, I need to organize this before I send it." Cuz I've sent a couple, and the way I do it is normally I have like my the grids and guidelines layer, and then my inspiration layer, and then you have the work layer. The work layer is a mess. Like
Yeah.
I have everything focused on the artboard, but then everything around it is like unused shapes, images, text boxes. So, so yeah.
Yeah.
At least, well,
I
yeah, it's not organized really at all. So,
It's all part of the creative process. It's like when you're working on a physical project too, your workstation is always like a complete mess.
mm-hmm.
As you're trying to put it together, all your materials and things you're pulling from. And so digitally it's like the same thing. It's
Yeah, yeah.
your collection of inspirations and iterations,
Mm-hmm.
and I like this, but I'm not sure about it, so I'm going to move it over here
Yeah.
for a second. Maybe I'll come back to it.
Well, yeah, it's also like if you do that and it's like you move it to another layer. My thing is if I want to like copy and paste it to a layer or drop something in, is sometimes you're selected into the wrong layer, but
Hmm.
then you don't like process it, so you're doing this on a wrong layer, and then when you're kind of like finished, you're like, oh, and you have to move them around.
Yeah,
Sometimes that does get a little annoying.
I can understand that.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there are times where I wish they kind of tell you that when you first get started.
Hmm.
Like literally the first thing you get into after like opening Photoshop or Illustrator is just a whole organization thing and kind of like figuring out your own method. I think that would be somewhat nice.
Yeah. I
I don't,
don't know.
cause yeah, I don't know. I think my problem is sometimes I just delete things and I shouldn't. I should really be
I do
saving
the
it.
same thing, and then I'm always like, dang it, I needed that.
Yeah, and I'm like digging through my like the trash can to try to see if I could still like restore it, or I'm looking through all my old files to see if I had it just lying around somewhere.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm like, damn, I guess I just have to remake it.
Yeah. That happened to me a lot on my when I had my last laptop because I didn't have like any storage left on it.
Oh,
And so every little thing that I thought I didn't need, I would just get rid of, and I'd instantly, empty my trash can, and then like an hour later I'd be like, I actually needed that.
yeah, that's the rough part is when you like start running out of storage.
Yeah. Get your hard drives.
I know. I feel like you always gotta have a hard drive.
Yeah.
Because even if you have like a terabyte or 500 gigs on the laptop, it's still not enough.
No. Because even on my new one, I'm still like, wow, I'm almost all the way through it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I need to empty some stuff off of it.
I don't think I've ever gotten close on my laptop. I do need to go through all of my files on it though and move it to my hard drive because it's been a while. But I think I'm doing pretty good with space.
Yeah.
I just need to make sure I don't have any videos on my desktop.
I think that's becoming my problem is I still have like everything that we've ever worked on for the podcast still on my computer, and so that's like the first 3 episodes, all the audio, all the social media posts. Like it just becomes a lot of content. And like
Yeah.
I usually won't put anything on my hard drive unless I'm done with it, like a project. And like since this one's like ongoing,
Mm-hmm.
it just has been building and building and building, and I just need to move it over and just keep adding to it instead. I just haven't done that.
I just moved mine today because it was like 5 different files from the teaser video because I was just messing around. And then, I don't know, two files each maybe for the episodes and all that because I also don't really know what I'm doing. And then they're massive files. It's probably like
They are.
10 gigs or something. So, and I don't really have a whole lot of space for my drive that holds all my desktop files. So I was like, oh God. Like when I was working on the font of the week today, I had to use Photoshop and they're like, you don't have any more disk space. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I was like, I guess this is the perfect time to do it all. So I got it all cleaned up. Well, not at all, but most of it cleaned up.
Yeah, a good start.
Yeah. It's nice to see my wallpaper, so.
Yeah. I have like something against putting documents and stuff on my desktop.
Really?
Yeah. I just never
For me,
do
it's
it.
it's quick access. Like, I remember, like, way before high school even, when, like, we had our family computers, I was, like, moving all the files into our own little folders and color coding them and all that because I like to see the wallpaper. But now it's like, if there's space, a file's just gonna fill that space.
Yeah.
And I try to drop it all in folders, but there are times where it can be a lot, especially when I export photos.
Yes.
Sometimes I have to like export like 10 photos, and just 10, it's not a lot, but it takes up a lot of screen space.
Especially when you're, taking photos with a nice camera and you have all the raw images and
Mm-hmm. You have the raw and
yeah,
the JPEGs.
the JPEGs yeah.
Yeah. It's
You
fun
plug
stuff.
your camera into your computer and 800 different files come up.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
Yeah.
well, there goes that. It's just
Yeah.
going to be a constant battle forever with what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a. I mean, there's probably we probably will get to a certain point where it's just like, yeah, whatever. But I mean, I still feel like I'm relatively fresh in this whole thing, so it's the very little things can sometimes bug me, but very rarely it will.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you want to move on to our design talk today?
Sure.
Sure. We thought it would be cool to kind of go over, like, do a last year's design trends and review, and then kind of talk about some of the 2025 ones, the things that have carried over since it's the start of a new year. I know Ty isn't fond of trends. He's like, I don't stick to them. I don't pay
Well, I
attention.
try
But do you
not
notice
to.
them?
Well, my thing is I never look at trends at all. Like I don't like go out and search up like, oh, what's trending, and then be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna design that. For me, I kind of just go to Pinterest, look through it, and if there's like an idea or style that I like, I'll kind of like try to simulate it a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but like even when we were searching through all these different like lists and websites, like I've never like known. My thing is like I don't know the names of all these things. Like when I'm trying to think of it, because like I know I've seen it, but I know there's a
You
name, but I
just can't
don't
put a
know
name
it.
to it. Yeah.
And then now looking at all these lists, I'm like, oh, so that's probably what I could have searched.
Yeah.
I was like,
To get what you're looking for.
that might have been a
Maybe,
little useful.
yeah, a little helpful.
Um, but yeah.
Um, I think the biggest one I noticed in this last year was like the retro or the nostalgia, you know, of the old becoming new again, with the twist. And I feel like we even played a bit on that with the podcast branding when we were kind of coming up to that. Not necessarily looking specifically towards retro, but like thinking this is a hotline. It has to have like that original look since
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of like a revival. But it's still playing on that, nostalgia thing too. This is something people will remember because it was a thing in the past.
Yeah, I've definitely. Well, I think the retro thing kind of will always stick around just
Yeah.
because people are like, oh, the times were so much more simpler and maybe even nicer. I don't know. But I know I like the like 80s retro, like synth style. I haven't done a whole lot in it, but I like the way it looks. Very vibrant and colorful. So I feel like that will always be sticking around. But
Yeah.
I feel like I don't see the whole, like, I forget what it's called. I know there's like the 90s style, which is kind of like the more muted colors with black outlines, I feel like. And then there's another one that I think is before the 80s, and it's very like comic book looking, but not vibrant in colors at all. I feel like those ones will always kind of like stick around
Yeah.
and make their little comebacks every once in a while.
I think they're going to be repurposed and used for at least a couple more years. I just,
Mm-hmm. I think we're kind of getting to the point though
yeah.
where people will start like, well, I don't, maybe not within the next couple of years, maybe like a couple like a decade or two, where people kind of like start like leaving the whole 80s, the 70s, 80s, 90s,
Hmm.
and then it's now focused on the like the Y2K stuff, which
Yeah.
I have seen a good amount of that coming
The
back.
Y2K is very strong right now.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot in like I feel like I've seen most, and it might just because it's like the targeted stuff, but I've seen it in a lot of apparel.
Yeah, me too. It's so crazy because that's now considered like retro, and that was like stuff when we were a kid. And I'm like,
Well,
what?
my thing is I don't remember seeing anything like that.
You don't? I mean,
Mm-mm.
it's
It's so like
it's definitely it definitely has a twist on it now. It's not like identical to what it was, but I can definitely see the influence.
really.
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember a whole lot, like
Especially in some of like kind
design
of like the pop
wise.
art stuff and the colors and I don't know. I
Maybe
see
I haven't been
it
looking
is
at the
weird.
right stuff. Let me, because the way I've been, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna drop this image in the Discord, and ah, whoa,
Well,
camera turned off. I don't know what's going on. Uh,
your audio like stopped for a second too. Yes, I
I don't
remember.
remember seeing any of that. Let me try to fix this camera. I don't know what's going on though.
Maybe you should screen share that image so that people can see it too, if they're watching.
I'll just put it into the...
Like, this is like early internet. I remember like TV shows having these sorts of
So
like
I could vaguely... I feel like
logos
Powerpuff
and
Girls kind of had this style.
yeah, Powerpuff
But that's
Girls. I'm
it.
thinking like Kim Possible even.
Really?
Let me look that up real quick. Yeah, I feel
What
like
is going on?
I remember um mainly seeing it. I guess not. Well, kind of. Are you having technical difficulties?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it just shut off. Like, it only turned off when I clicked on Discord. Which is just wonderful. And I think with Riverside, you have to stop the recording to connect your camera. Which I don't want to do because that's just another file for me to download.
Yeah.
I mean... Okay, I'm going to stop the recording, fix this, and then start it again.
Okay. We'll pick up the discussion in a second.
Guess... What's the KP one? Why does it
That's
say...
like an alternate.
Oh.
Oh, I just sent Ty back some Kim Possible logos from that same time period. And like from Y2K. And like you can tell that the new Y2K is definitely different, but I can see the original inspiration in things like this. Like
To me, it just feels like it's like a very like anime style design. Like I don't really remember. I don't remember it at all.
I definitely see it in fashion the most. Early internet stuff, I feel like, is making a comeback.
Early 2000 design. It's a lot. I see a whole lot of this like the three-dimensional bubble look with like a gloss shine on it.
Lots of drop shadows, even like the 3D lettering too. That was big. Is also I feel like was a trend last year too. Not
Okay.
necessarily used in Y2K, but in
I'm
general.
I'm sending a picture, and this is what I remember from Y2K design. Okay, and tell me if I'm wrong.
Early word. Okay, I see that too.
This is what I think of. Like
Clip art.
I see this in classrooms, stores, online, videos. Like this is what I think of. I don't think of any of this other stuff. Like
Trying to find other
I'm curious on
examples.
where on like how this all started, where like people started to make designs in this one style, and then like where did it all come from?
Yeah, I
Because
can't tell you. This random collage thing I'm sending you. It's like early Apple interface or internet. That's what I kind of think of.
isn't this like a website? I think Brian showed us like a website that's like early internet days, and it's like it looks exactly like this.
Probably. But yeah,
I
I
get,
I
you
see
know,
elements of the original Y2K resurfacing. I'm not saying that it's like the
yeah,
same now. It's definitely not. It has its own modern twist. But
I
I think
get,
it's fun.
I can see a similarity. I haven't looked at it in a while, but by looking at all this stuff, I think of Pizza Planet from Toy Story.
Yes, I think that is a good connection.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Now I'm like I gotta look that up to check.
Pizza
But
Planet.
Pizza Planet.
Yeah. I could see it. Kind of, sort of.
I can spell planet. Yeah, for sure.
I just like I just like the way it looks, and it's like not even like a real thing. I mean, it is like at Disneyland, but it was made for a movie. I was like,
But it was
that's
during that time.
genius, genius.
What's some other design trends of last year? I'm looking.
There's
The
good old
clashing
AI.
colors. The
Which
like
clashing colors?
clashing colors, like bright.
It's a tongue twister.
It is. But like bright red and pink together. Neon yellow and neon green. Just like here, I'll send you this
Which
screenshot.
list are you? Are you looking at the Adobe list?
I'm not looking at the Adobe list. I found a different one, but I did
I'm on the
notice
Behance.
this a lot in, especially like on social media, just because it very much stands out against photos and stuff.
Oh, I've
These
seen so
bright,
many
like
designs.
conflicting colors.
And they have that shape in the back. I've seen so many people. That's why I don't look at trends, though.
Yeah,
Because you technically
yeah.
already look at them when you're on social media. I feel like that's all everyone really does. It reminds me of, like, one of Spotify's raps, like, from a
I
couple
think
years
so
ago or
too.
something.
I
Like,
maybe
the
the year
colors.
before.
Very colorful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
it looks
abstract
nice.
too, because it's like hard to pair some of these colors with each other. So like the content has to be very loose.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why there's like a lot of shapes going on with these colors. Not a lot of imagery because it just like clashes.
Oh, wait, there is a Spotify ad in there. On the top row. Center right. I knew it.
Yep, there is.
I do remember like I've tried to do something similar to this, but I've always ran into problems where the text gets hard to read with all the colors.
Yeah, I
But
do
it's
see that.
like this is three colors: the background, the shape color, and then the text color. I think for me, I had way more than that, like four or five.
Hmm.
So it was getting a little lost. But yeah, I have seen this quite a lot.
Yeah, it's. I see it. Like even scrolling through the other designs on these articles that we pulled up, like it's like talking about like grain or something as a trend, but it's still
That's
those bright
a
colors.
grain is a will be a trend for life.
I think so too.
I don't know
I
what
always
like
like to include it, but
I just recently started using it and I don't know what it is, but it does make it look. Something about it makes it look a little bit better.
I agree. I love green.
I don't know I don't know why. But I get it now. I get why people are saying like, "Ew, grain is not original." Somebody come up with another one, like another texture effect thing.
Yeah. Also, a lot of um, another trend I did notice too was what are they called? Like the retro mascots, like
Retro
um,
mascots.
retro mascots. I don't know. Is that what you describe it as? Let me look it up. It's not on any of these lists, but one that I've noticed. Yeah. You search up retro mascots, it comes up with the right idea. Like the little walking flowers,
Oh,
kind of like
wait a minute.
early Walt Disney esque.
Do you have a
Here's,
reference picture of what you're talking about?
yeah, I'll send it. I'll send this hot dog just for you.
Chess.
um,
Oh, okay. I get it now.
yeah, with
Yeah, it's
like the
like
hat, the half moon eyes.
mm-hmm. And that like Pac-Man cut out in the eye.
Yeah, and the big gloved hands, and they're always
Big
strolling.
gloves,
Like
thick
I've
black
seen a lot
lines.
of those everywhere.
I don't think I have. I'm trying to think. I feel like I haven't seen a whole lot of that.
one of my projects, the packaging design project we did our final year tie, I the socks almost had one of a retro mascot that I
Really?
yeah. Until
I
I
feel
changed it
like.
entirely to woodland woolies and did a little more
Mm,
nature, natural, sock kind of inspired, but like one of the other routes was the retro.
what was the mascot
Because
gonna be?
I was good. I did like a couple different characters with wearing socks. Like I couldn't,
Ah.
but that was like
Should
the
have done
issue.
like a
I
sock
couldn't.
puppet.
That's a good idea. But
Just
yeah, it
like
was
the
just
little
like
like.
not going anywhere. They were like, it was not coming together. I was like, so,
Okay, okay,
but
okay. Hmm. This thing, I don't. I'm looking at all these different lists, and yeah, I have seen it, but it's like I feel like I've only seen it from one designer. Like, not everyone's doing it, so it's
yeah.
hard to say if it is a trend or not. I mean, it looks nice. There's one that's just called Doodles, and all it is it's like not. It's basically just a photo, and it has like the little illustrative marks on it. And I have seen it a lot, but I mean, I guess it is a trend, but
Oh yeah, the
it's like
little
not
doodles.
a
That's like what I
lot.
did for that video I did in Illuminary. The little doodles over the
Oh, but
top of
that
the
I
footage.
guess that was like an animation. These are like stills, but I guess it is
Well, yeah.
similar. I do think though an animated version of this Doodles thing is better, but I mean I feel like you can say that to literally everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean this is interesting because they're calling this Doodles, but this is not. This is not a doodle. Like this thing has had to have gone through many different variations.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole brand kit essentially.
That's cool though.
Yeah,
I
I
think
like the just the duotone.
yeah,
So simple but so nice.
especially since like we were talking about a lot of the like clashing colors are in right now. Those I think those very simple designs are sticking out a little bit more, which may become a trend later in the year is going back to the simplicity after
Mm-hmm.
everyone's had their bout with stickers and Y2K and neon colors.
I know. Eventually, you're gonna hit. We're gonna hit a point where it's like the moody like style where it's
Yes.
very like flat, bland colors.
Yeah. I think
One day we'll hit there. I'm sure.
Moody is definitely going to become more apparent this next year in especially with the use of AI being able to create
People are probably gonna make like
anything and have
designs that go against
copyright
it.
free images, and I think there'll be a lot of more dramatic um, design and imagery coming through with the use of AI just because it can do anything,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it's what people created, so someone wants it.
We're going to use it as a tool.
I mean, it is useful. Like
Yeah.
I use it a lot, but not like a lot. A lot. I
Yeah.
guess I should say I use it a bit, because it's not really a lot. But another trend that I've seen show up a couple of times on these lists is pixels. I don't know if you've seen anything where it's related with just pixels and blocks.
I haven't really seen a whole lot of that. Have
Actually,
you?
now that that comes up, I do remember when we were figuring out the whole theme for our showcase, someone did bring up pixels. I
I do
remember
remember
that.
that actually now. Yeah.
And I don't remember the reason why, but I do remember it came up. And I
Well,
feel like that one was almost one of the top choices.
I think because it was different.
But I and then someone who like
But we were
pitched it
like, this is
had
gonna
a
be really
background
hard.
story. Yeah. Well, it was like if we wanted to do vinyl, it was like you had to weed out the little blocks. I was like, no one wants
Yeah,
to
and
do
then
that.
every piece has to go down like separately, and I don't
Yeah.
know. It was like,
Yeah.
it sounds really cool, but we barely got our stuff done in the timeline that
I
we had,
think
and it was just gradients.
in reality, it would have. I feel like on paper looks and sounds good, but maybe in reality, when you get to like the final stages, you're like, I think we made a mistake.
Yeah.
And then it's like too late to turn back, so you have to stick with it. Because the one I'm looking at, it is so simple. It's very similar to the one with that abstract shape where it's just like three colors. I mean, yeah, this is just one example, but I mean, looking at this,
Oh yeah,
there's
that's
not a
super
lot
simple.
to work with.
No.
It would be like very simple and minimal. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not bad, but yeah, not my favorite. I don't know if I'd personally ever
I
use
wouldn't.
it.
I don't think I would. I almost will. There are times where I do wish I could do like 8-bit art.
Yeah.
That's probably something I will try to get into this year, but and that's I feel like that's the only time it's really necessary. You know, I don't
Hmm.
think I don't think anybody really asked for this. like, like yeah, it exists, and you're like, all right, but yeah. Would you say you have a? Did you follow any trends or have like a favorite one that kind of
Um,
like spoke out to you?
I think I use the retro the most, especially, with the podcast and everything. But we did ours a little differently,
Mm-hmm.
um, as we like to tie in a lot of the physical elements in with like textures and papers and resew and all that kind of stuff. So it's like we did it, but with a twist. So I don't think I've ever really followed any of these kind of trends very strictly. Um, I do kind of the clashing colors. I'm not opposed to. That's something I maybe want to like kind of push a little bit more moving forward before it
Mm-hmm.
disappears and we're going back to monochromatic and flat trends. So I do really like that one. I think it's very fun and it's bright and
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
feel like a good way to start the year using some fun color.
I feel like I would maybe make an attempt. I feel like I wouldn't do the like 3-dimensional objects. I feel like I would just keep it kind of like flat, and then yeah, probably just start from there. I feel like it'd be worth to experiment with.
Hmm.
That's kind of what I've been doing with like our font of the weeks though. Is I kind of just look at Pinterest and find something new, and it's essentially copying it, but it's just for me testing out a new style or a couple methods that I haven't done before. So
Yeah, I always like for fun weeks look on Pinterest for just like a second, and there's usually like one that pops up, and I'm like, I like that. I don't like look at it again. It just
hmm
sparks the idea, and I move away and do my own thing. But
yeah,
okay, we don't have a sad to rad this week. I'm thinking maybe I got inspired when we were briefly talking about cars earlier. Maybe next week I'll try to do a car logo rebrand or
ooh,
something.
people
Because
have
I was
been people have been talking about that. Well, not I mean, it's probably late now, but I mean, Jaguar did their rebrand. I don't think anybody likes it, and then Kia did a rebrand a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Just it was kind of out of nowhere, but I mean, I feel like they did also make a switch with all of their cars.
Yeah, their cars look way different too.
It's
Because
like
like when I
so
was looking at
modern,
cars, I
futuristic.
never would have chosen a Kia until I drove it, and it was actually really nice. But like on my steering wheel, it has like the new Kia logo, and I
Hmm.
look at it when I'm driving sometimes. I'm like, damn. that's a nice logo.
Yeah, it's like literally kind of
I'm
like.
like, they did good on that
hmm
one.
I didn't
Um,
see anything on Instagram either. It's kind of just like you're
no.
driving around and you're like, what is that car? And you have to get closer to kind of like read it. You're like, when did they do this?
And it doesn't look like a Kia car anymore. Like
No.
before they rebranded, it's like
Yeah.
Kia,
Well, it's like you
but
look at a
they
Kia
look good
Soul
now.
and you're like,
Yeah,
Kia. But
Kia
now
Souls.
they kind of blend in a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
Um, I
but
feel
maybe
like
picking
they're
a not as good car brand logo and redoing it, or not
like
maybe
what?
just revamping it. I don't
Like, are you
know.
thinking of any right now?
Mm,
I think to me the ones I feel like Honda and Toyota are like a timeless design.
very
Like I
much
feel like
so.
they don't ever have to change theirs. The one that I do feel like kind of may need a change, or I was never really a fan of, was like Hyundai or
Hyundai and Honda are so close
I
together.
know it's just an italic
It's
age.
yeah, it's like the same thing. So maybe one of those, or even I don't. I'm not really attached to Chevrolet. There's just something about it that I'm
Like the
like,
plus sign.
yeah, I'm like,
I'm
you
sure it
better.
has meaning,
I'm sure it does too. I'll look into that. So I'll look into it. But I think
or
that's what I
even
want to
like
do next week
Ford
for Sad to
logo.
Rad.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ford does need an update, I think, actually, because they've had the same one for
but they probably just want to keep it, you know.
yeah. I mean, they are the original
They're the founding
car brand.
fathers.
They're the founding fathers of the cars. So they're
Yeah.
like,
I'm trying to. There aren't really any like bad ones. I feel like.
no. And it's just something fun exercise to do to see how we
hmm
as designers would push it, I think. So that's what I think I'm gonna do for next week. You can do it too if you'd like. The more the better. Do a car rebrand.
Yes.
It could even just be a sketch. It doesn't have to be like all
Yeah.
done ready.
I'll I'll try to work on something.
I think it'd be
It
cool.
might not be car.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to think of something.
Okay.
Maybe within. Well, I don't know actually. Well, yeah. I'll definitely be working on stuff these next couple of weeks, so we'll just see what comes out of this.
Yes.
It could literally be anything.
You'll surprise me next week.
Maybe not. Who knows? Who knows what's happening? Honestly, I don't even know.
Neither.
So
I'm taking every day by day, because plans, nah.
yeah, I just live day by day. I don't make plans at all. I, most of the time because they just get delayed, and then I'm like, alright, whatever. Too late to do it now. I think that's also the sad part about how dark it gets so early. I think it's different when you're not a student.
It does.
But yeah.
Taking these quiet moments that I have now that I'm not a student for granted, like I bask in the silence and there's nothing to do, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Well, to me, I'm like, oh, I feel like I should be
But
doing something.
yeah,
I was like,
that's the issue.
I was like way more active when I was a student than I am now. I'm like, damn, I
Some
don't.
days I don't know how we did it. It was like I would be going from 6 a.m. to like 11:30 p.m. every single day.
We were young. We're old
Now, no
now.
way.
Yeah, yeah. No way it's happening now.
All right,
Okay,
we'll
is
go
it
over fun of the week.
final week time?
Fun of the week. So before our holiday break, we chose Helvetica.
Mm-hmm. The one and only.
Classic
Did you use just
Helvetica.
Helvetica or the Helvetica Noi? No,
I just
new.
use regular Helvetica.
I can't even tell the difference, but I just
Yeah, there.
I like having the new. I don't know why. But yeah. So that's what I used. It was also what I already had on my computer, so.
Yeah, they're like the same thing. So
Yeah.
I
I
think
can't tell anything
like
visually.
strikingly different.
Yeah, like the letter forms all look the same. I'm pretty sure all it is was like a revamp. Like they changed maybe
Maybe the spacing
something.
or
Yeah, yeah, maybe they just changed the spacing and then they're like, this is it. It's perfect. So, so yeah.
you wanna go over yours?
Yes. So for my poster, I designed it based off of like the color palette of our friend Emily, mainly because she is like a I don't know. She always talks about Helvetica, and I think she uses it too. And yeah, I remember at certain projects she was always recommending it. I was like, I don't think we should do that. I don't think people would be happy with that. So I picked that just because, yeah. And then her thing is she uses this pink a lot. So I was like, I'm gonna just make a whole like monotone pink design, and then yeah,
This looks very
um,
Emily.
yeah. I tried to match it. I think one thing I definitely tried to match it with are those little stars.
Yeah.
I feel like she uses those. I'm not really too sure. And
The
then
gradients and the grain are
yeah,
very
yeah. Well, I feel like if I didn't use the green, it kind of would have looked a little flat.
yeah.
And I think with the whole, I don't even know what that center thing is called. Like, what would you call that? Like, I don't know.
Like the what is
It's something.
depicted in the
It's like
on the poster.
abstract, or like,
Yeah.
how would you
It remind
describe it?
it reminds me of like cloth folds, like
Like
the way
silk.
yeah, like silk, like fabric,
Mm,
like those
yeah.
banners we made. Remember like how those
Yeah.
yeah. That's what
Okay.
I'm getting
Yeah, it
from
does
this
kind of look like that.
imagery on it.
Or like a
It's just kind
chrome
of very
ocean.
very saturated with
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I had to. That's one thing I wanted to do for this one, though, was do that, get that look. Because I've always seen it. I was like, I wonder how you make it. So I gave it a try, and it doesn't look too bad. Um, but yeah, I definitely think it needed that green. It adds good texture.
I think so.
But yeah, it's pretty simple. There's a whole lot of thought behind it. Basically, once we picked Helvetica, I was kind of like, all right, what to do? I can do something very simple
Same.
or something extreme. And then I was like, well, Emily uses it, so why not? And it looks nice. I like it.
I
I'm
like it.
noticing
She did a good job on it.
I like doing these mono or duotone things.
Mhm.
I don't know, it just looks nice. Very clean and simple.
I like it.
But yeah. Not much to talk about. What about yours?
I Helvetica just personally to me is just there's something about it that I normally would not pick it.
I know, me too. It
Like,
kind of there's something about it that stands out where I'm like, huh,
hmm,
there's something else. Like I
I'm
can use
like,
something
is it
else.
boring? But
It's I
it's
think
not.
it's
But
yeah. I don't know what it is because there are times when I'm like when I'm at the trophy shop and I need to pick like a Sans. I'm like, all right, let's give Helvetica a shot.
yeah,
And then I'm like, that does not look. It doesn't look good. So then I always pick something else.
yeah. But anyway, I didn't know what I was doing with it, but I just started. I found this image that I really liked, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do some song lyrics from Avi
Mm-hmm.
Copland's "Floating on a Dream," and I really liked the floating, but I'm not sure if Helvetica pairs with it.
Yeah,
But I did it anyway.
it does kind of like stick out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like too strict against the very like flowy freeform of the image and the other type that I use. So
Hmm.
it's not bad. I do really like it,
Yeah, I
but
mean, I do think though,
it
if it
was an
were
experiment.
if it were like a real thing, probably I don't think anyone would use Helvetica.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the rough part where we run into stuff like this. But I mean, the the floating is nice, and how you have the that transparency thing on it, and
Yes,
even
the
how
color dodge.
the text on the bottom right is still legible too,
Yeah. I was trying to
which
tie
is
it a little
nice.
bit more with the floating typeface that I used with the color dodge, and it actually worked really well to kind of tie it a little bit more
Hmm.
because before it was just like sticking out like a sore thumb. Like I was like,
Yeah, it doesn't.
Helvetica is not the vibe, but by changing that to the color dodge as well, it worked a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Definitely doesn't stand out, and it's not really that hard to read either. So
Yeah. But
very
I
nice.
love this image of this, woman floating in the water with this really, beautiful green dress floating in the water with these like very dramatic colors of the dark blue and the bright green and
Mm-hmm.
um
It's
yeah.
kind of like it would be used on a Circus Sully poster or something like that.
Yeah. I see that. But yeah, it was just an experiment of what do I pair Helvetica with? I don't know.
I know. I mean, what else could you really use
Like I
it
said, there's
for?
just something about it to me that I'm just like I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I feel like. I think it's also because I feel like you don't see it a whole lot in the wild, and to me at
Yeah.
least, I only know of it because it's like the default. I don't know if it still is, but it was the default font for like pages.
Mhm.
So that's the only reason why I know of it. Or like I knew of it before college. But yeah.
Yeah. Where's my
And then, so the next font of the week, we had picked Oscar with a K.
Oscar with a K?
Maybe that's the poster. And it's on Adobe Fonts. And when we first saw it, we were saying it's a mixture, at least to us, it kind of looks like a mixture of, I was saying Futura, and you said Cable, right?
Cable, yeah.
Cable. And yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah. It
It's
was also
all
giving
caps
me.
though,
Is it all
which will
caps?
be
Oh yeah, it is. Definitely.
interesting. Well, like they have the caps and then small caps, so it'll be
Yeah.
quite nice.
I liked it. It kind of had like Art Nouveau 1920s kind of aesthetic to it.
Mm.
So that might be inspiration for me, you, people listening.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah.
And there are also a couple different options. I can't really tell. Actually, I can now. There's like they have one that's called Oscar One and Oscar Two. There's not really that big of a difference, but I like the way Oscar One bold looks.
Yeah.
Very it's like a very display style.
It's a really cool one.
Yes, I'm excited.
Me too.
Ooh, that W looks cool too. W looks like the Wonder Woman W,
Oh yeah, it does.
and then the M looks like another logo, like Ma- Mashima or something like that. But yeah,
It's a good one.
I'm excited. I'm hoping something flows through my brain when designing this. After all, most of these posters that we do are very last minute, so.
You're not supposed to say
What do
that.
you mean? It's fine. Okay, well, I was more implying mine, so.
I'm on
Saved
it
it.
some weeks, other weeks I'm not. It's okay.
Most of the time is like I think of the idea like kind of when we pick it, and then I kind of let it like ferment.
Simmer. Yeah.
Yeah, simmer, ferment, um, other word, and then either the day before or the day of, I kind of work on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be a fun one. Another good old fun font of the week. And then
I guess we Patreon reminders. We did release our first sticker pack on Patreon. It is available to anyone who subscribes to us. Just drop your address in the Google form that's on our page, and we'll send it to you. Um, Again, there's bonus content on the Patreon as well, bonus episodes, little journal entries that we do because we like to rant sometimes too. And
or
it's
just
just,
random thoughts.
yeah. And all the money there goes towards the podcast. So if there's something you want to see, let us know. Also, join our Discord server where you can talk to other designers, share your fonts of the week, and chat with us, share your thoughts, introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as always, too, there will be an Instagram recap of this episode posted when the episode is released. So if you want to go see anything we talked about in this episode, it will be posted there for your viewing. Anything else you want to add, Ty?
No. I don't think so. Um, I think I'm going to try to figure out that description for the sticker pack, though, because I did forget about that.
That's okay.
But yeah, I think that's about it.
Sounds good. Do you want to sign us off today?
Sure.
It's been a minute, hasn't it?
Pardon?
It's been a minute, hasn't
Oh,
it?
yeah. I don't know why. I can't remember, like, lines or anything. But good thing it's here. Thank you for tuning into 1-800 SAD Design. Until next time, keep designing, stay inspired, and dial into design. Bye.
Bye.